Howdy. So, today I'm going to do something different than I've done in the past. I want to teach guys specifically how to do some basic cooking. I'm 31. I've cooked my whole life. I learned from my father when I was young. But I've come across so many people my age that just don't have the skill or are intimidated by it because it's really not very difficult. So I just want to go over a couple quick things, show you a couple of basics, how to make a real easy meal that will impress people. And I tell you what, nothing impresses people more than being able to cook a good meal. Once heard advice that if you just know how to cook one meal, you have one thing that you're really good at, then you're going to be able to kind of skate by. I like having a good repertoire, but in a pinch, there's always at least one thing I could say, hey, I can make this right now, it's going to be great, and you're going to impress a crowd. So today I'm going to show you how to make some bell peppers and beef, and I'm going to show you the easiest way I figured out how to do it. So the trick with a lot of Asian food is that there's not usually a huge definitive recipe. You start with ingredients that you have, and you use some flavors that you like, and it usually comes out good. It's kind of hard to mess up. So what I have here are bell peppers that came out of my friend's garden. Now, the deer broke through his fence and ate all his leaves, and these are about to burn up and die, so he gave me a bunch of them. And to go with that, I got a few serrano peppers to add a little spice. And I went to the butcher and got some chuck. Now, if you ever want to impress a lady or a person at all, and when you're doing a cooking, you just say, well, I went to my butcher. And that's a great line to really make them think you know what you're talking about. Great thing about going to a butcher is they can recommend a meat depending on what you want to make. And in this case, I had them cut it for me. This is just saving me tons of prep work. With a lot of Asian food, you'll see that the meat's all pre-cut before cooking, and specifically it's cut against the grain. That's going to make it easier to eat without a knife. So there is about 3 pounds of chuck there. I planned this to be a couple meals. Cut against the grain, nice fatty, fat is flavor, so this should be a good nice meal right here. So I'm going to start by prepping my vegetables, cleaning them up, and chopping them. Okay, so I have all my bell peppers washed up here and my few serrano peppers. And the reason you're doing that is to get gunk off of them. If I had bought these in the store, they're sprayed down with stuff while out in the fields, while at the store. You just want to get all that cleaned off. Some people like vegetable wash, some just like water. I don't know what I really like. I know these came from my friend's garden. He doesn't use anything on them, so they're going to be pretty good. I just want to get mostly the dirt off. So what I'm going to do with the bell peppers, and everyone you see will have their own way of cutting up everything. This is just the way I've always done these. I cut it in half. I take out the core, the seed junk, that's garbage. It's not inedible, it just doesn't really work with most recipes. And then I'm going to take everything and I'm going to cut it up pretty narrow. It doesn't matter if they're exactly the same, or if there's this white junk in the middle here. That's not going to affect anything. It still tastes fine. The important part is don't cut your fingers. Blood in food isn't good. You can see when you're cutting, it's good to kind of keep your fingers curled in. Don't have the tips out there. Whatever's under that knife will come off. And a dull knife just hurts more. Now you can always find recipes online, and they're always a good guideline, but there's always room for adjustment. Especially if you like things spicier or less spicy, or, you know, a little saltier. So, call that good there. I have lots of bell peppers, so I'll probably fast forward this next part. There we go, big bowl of bell pepper. Now for the meat. Like I said earlier, my butcher was kind enough to cut up all my meat for me against the grain, so I got nice short grain. And you can see in this meat here, there's all these little stripes of fat through it, and that's called marbling, and that's gonna make for some really tender, really tasty meat. You also cut it really thin, which is a way that you see a lot of Asian food cooked. The only thing is it's a little long, so I'm still gonna have to cut it down. And just think of how big of a piece do you want to eat without using a knife, because Asian food usually you don't have a knife. So 1.5 inches or so. Try to cut everything fairly even. It doesn't matter all that much. Now the trick with cutting this against the grain, and you might need to YouTube that or Google it and figure out exactly what I'm talking about, is that the shorter grain means it kind of falls apart when cooking and becomes super, super soft. So it's a good trick for taking not so great meat and making it tender and easy to eat. Stir fries are just kind of the way of just getting whatever leftover food was left and making a nice meal out of it. Same way fried rice was just using the leftover rice and getting another meal out of it. There we are, 3 pounds cut into nice bite-sized pieces. Okay, so I got my pan here, and I'm gonna get this thing nice and hot. Now you may notice this is not a professional range, it's nothing fancy. In fact, it's a very small kitchen, but you can do just about anything. Your trick here is you're gonna want as heavy as a pan as you can. This one's actually cast aluminum, anodized. So it's really non-stick, and you do want something non-stick here. But a heavy, thick pan is going to be able to heat more evenly. So you're going to get some better cooking out of that. You're going to get some better flavors coming off of your stuff. You're going to want some oil. Some people are really picky. Some people like their avocado oils or their coconut oils. I go with my generic canola oil or vegetable oil or whatever happens to be in my cupboard at that moment. You're going to want to let that get warm. Now, because I'm doing so many bell peppers and so much beef, I'm going to do this all in stages, but I'm going to show you how to do this in just kind of one pan to start there. Okay, the pan's getting nice and warm here. So I'm just going to put a little bit, tablespoon maybe a little more. I'm gonna kind of swish it around. I'm gonna coat everything really well. Being a non-stick pan, it's not going to stick really well, but you want a little coat, maybe a little bit more there. It's not quite enough to coat the whole thing. This comes down to that in Asian food, there's not a whole lot of exactness. Just kind of make it so it works. So there you go. Now that it's nice and hot, we've got that oil nice and hot here. That doesn't take very long when it's a thin. We're gonna take our meat and we're gonna put this down flat. And the goal here is to brown it. You don't want to rush this. And I'll show you real quick what we're going for here. Giant chopsticks are really the way to go to keep yourself. So, you can see here, it turns kind of gray, and then it turns brown. And that brown part, when it's doing that, it's actually releasing a lot of flavor. I have some friends that are chefs that'll tell you exactly what that process is called. All I can tell you is that it's delicious, and that's what you're aiming for. But you don't want to burn it. So you're looking for browning. You're going to flip it, and you're going to brown the other side. Okay, that's looking great there. At this point, we don't care if it's going to cook all the way through or not. We're just going for that brown on the outside. Probably turn that down, I got it a bit high. Okay. Other side browned pretty quick. Now I'm going to add my bell peppers. Just give this a couple minutes. You don't want the bell peppers to get soggy. You want them to break down a little bit, soften up a bit, and get some of that flavor from the steak in there. My giant chopsticks are failing me. Now we're looking to make sure the pink goes away on this beef. And it looks... Okay, so I got the bell peppers. They're crisping up a little. I got all the pink gone out of the meat there. I'm gonna just set these off to the side. Use a plate or something that's going to keep all the juices in. That's all flavor. You don't want to lose that. Including all this brown in here. You don't want to rinse this out in between this next part and that first part. So now we're going to do a little bit of sauce here. So I'm going to just go into my cupboard and see what I got. Alright, so I'm going to start with soy sauce. I always use the less sodium stuff. Right there, less sodium. It's pretty salty still. So I'm going to put a couple glugs worth in there or so. And a little bit of vinegar. This is rice vinegar. It's got that Asian flavor to it. Fresh ginger always works. I don't happen to have any with me. But I think I have some powdered or ground or something. Okay, so here's a little powdered ground ginger. I haven't even opened this one yet. Put a little bit of that in there. I got this stuff here. It's chili garlic sauce. It's made by the same people who do the sriracha. It's super tasty. I use this a lot. Highly recommend it. Considered a sambal from what my chef friends have told me. I'm going to just do a nice dollop. And just a little bit ginger too. This pre-crushed ginger you could buy, it's nice. It's not the most potent, so you end up using a little more than you would in real cooking if you're squishing ginger. But I don't feel like peeling ginger today. So I'm gonna heat this up, mix it all together. Some boiling. No, this isn't water. It will burn. If you're especially talented at cooking, I know people have burnt water. So, just means you need to keep this moving around a little. So, there we are. That's lots of flavor in there. Got up to a boil. And what we're letting it do here is we're letting it, some of the water evaporate out. It's going to make it a little thicker. And it's going to cling to the stuff a bit better. One trick used a lot in Asian cooking to thicken is you add a little bit of cornstarch, and that gives things a bit of a thicker consistency. But I don't think we need it that thick for this. This is a very simple dish. Thickening up nice now. So what I'm going to do is just take my meat and veggies, just going to pour that right in there. This is a little heavy on the sauce. That's usually how I like it. I'm going to heat everything back up together now. I'm going to call that good. I'm going right back to the plate I used before, because why not? And right there, that's a beautiful plate of bell peppers and beef. And you can serve this with rice, you could eat it just on its own. Either way, you're now a master chef and you know how to make something cool. I hope you like this. I'm going to continue and make several more pounds of this and have this for several meals. That's the other good thing about knowing how to cook, is you only have to do it once or twice a week and you can always be eating like a king. So I hope you enjoyed this little cooking tutorial. If you like it, if you didn't like it, let me know. Let me know if you want the format to change at all. As you can tell, I'm not a professional chef. I have a very small kitchen. I just wanted to share some things I know with you guys. If there's a recipe you want to know how to cook, let me know. I'll see if I can find an easy way of doing it and show you there. Until next time, I'm Nick, and thanks for watching.